I think the only one that was listed in your email was comment number 9 related to Florida open space.
Right.
Whether that would be waived.
Yeah, and that's something I believe that I usually refer to that to the township manager. So as long as you would coordinate that with the township manager, that would satisfy that comment.
Right. Okay. And that is a condition of following my resolution.
Good. Do you have any other questions?
No, I just know we're eager to get these things done if those conditions are met. I'd like to leave these with the client for their signature, and their surveyor's signature, and then obviously deliver them, but in the next couple of days, that'd be great.
And I'd like to see the copy of the letter that you have.
Sure.
I mean, more than signatures. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right, you guys got any questions?
No.
All right, at this point, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2023-10, granting final plan approval for Mount Zion Baptist Church, Phase 1, LD 2018-01.
I'll second that.
Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. I was going to say, in regard to that resolution, our client did
I'll
tomorrow
for your signature.
Okay, I already have that.
Okay.
That was from your agenda.
Okay, do you have original signatures there?
That was scanned.
Okay, I'll send you 3 resolutions for original signature.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mike, take it from here.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Good evening. First item I have for the board would be the Acme Warehouse, which is an older project. We spent a lot of time this past month trying to close out projects that were essentially on the verge or already completed, and we wanted to get those closed out because there was no point in holding plant security longer than we had to. And a lot of projects were already in a state that they were ready for completion, so we were conducting final inspections on those. So the first one is the Acme Warehouse. This is a project at 500 South Money Creek Road. This is a stabilization issue with their stormwater basin. They had a total security posted with the township for $309,000. All of the improvements had already been previously finished. The stabilization is now in place. So we're recommending full approval based on a letter of June 22nd that we have in the packet. Any questions on that?
You guys good?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the release in full of security posted for improvements made at 500 South Money Creek Road for the Acme security release.
I will second that, but I want to add to that, where it says in full, in the amount of $309,000.
Motion is second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, the next item would be the catalyst security release. This is land development at 425 South Money Creek Road. We met with the contractor. As you can see, the shell is up. The parking area has been done. We're recommending, they've actually requested release of $975,356.44. Just to note, I spoke with Jeff prior to the meeting. We are retaining $228,895.31. So there are remaining improvements that are still secured with the township. This is only a partial release of the total amount. Any questions related to that?
And obviously that amount remaining amount will cover whatever is not.
Yeah, and the remaining items, just so you know, it's basically the wearing course of the parking area, 2 areas. There's some landscaping and stabilization and ENS controls that are still being maintained, and those won't be released until the final project is completed.
Any questions there? I'd like to make a motion to release Callis Securities, security posted for improvements made at 425 South Money Creek Road in the amount of $299,290.78. Oh, sorry. I will, my apologies.
Yes.
Scratch that. I will make a motion to approve the release of the $975,356.44 as part of Catalyst Securities posted for the improvements made at 425 South Money Creek Road.
And I will second that.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, the next item would be the high concrete stormwater project. This is at 125 Denver Road. This is one of those projects that has been around for a long time and was actually completed. There were some issues to be resolved with Lancaster County Conservation District, which are now resolved to the satisfaction of the township. So we are recommending full release of that amount, and the amount for you is $299,290.78. Any questions related to that?
That is a full release.
That is a full release, that is correct.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to release the full amount for high concrete of their security deposit posted for $299,290.78 for improvements made at 125 Denver Road.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Next is the Members First Credit Union. This was a subdivision land development plan at 2050 North Reading Road. This was a project that was essentially completed. The only items that were left had to do with the submission of the as-built plan and also some striping in the parking area, which was completed over the past month or two. So the remaining security, this would also close this project out. The only thing that was being retained was the amount of $10,445.74 for those remaining improvements. Any questions?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the full release for Members First Credit Union in the amount of $10,445.74 for the improvements made at 2050 North Reading Road.
I will second that.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Next would be, and Tommy, I guess I'll cover the extension. We have an extension request from the project manager for the Village of East Cocalico project. They're accepting or granting the township a 90-day time extension to review their project. And I don't know what the new, let's see the new expiration.
November 10th.
November? Okay. It's November 10 of this year.
2023.
Yes, correct.
I'll make a motion to extend the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code review period for the Village of East Cocalico Land Development Plan 2021-02 to November 10th, 2023.
I will second that.
Motion and a second.
And let me just announce I'll be recusing myself from the vote for a business relationship with the developer there.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 2-1.
2-0.
2-0.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen, that's all I have this
Thanks,
evening.
Mike. Have a good evening.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Next item on the list on the agenda is Air Methods Heliport use extension.
Board will recall a few months back, having granted a temporary use permission for the heliport at the Stevens Fire Company. That was for 3 months. That expires on Sunday, and the folks at Air Methods have requested a 90-day extension for the temporary use as they prepare land development plans, which would bring us to October 20th, 2023.
Any questions there, guys? I'd like to make a motion to extend the Air Methods heliport use at the Stevens Fire Company to October 20th, 2023.
I will second that.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Next on the list, Phase 1 bog turtle habitat assessment.
The township consultant for our culvert replacement project has notified us that a phase 1 bog turtle study is required to proceed with this work. The consultant has provided us with a proposal for the work, totals $5,700, and that approval is for the board this evening.
You guys got any questions there?
Yes, it's a necessary, move this thing forward, so.
I will make a motion to execute an agreement to conduct a Phase 1 bog turtle habitat assessment as per the proposal submitted by Ritu dated June 14th, 2023 in the amount of $5,700.
Now I'll second
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye.
that.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda is Finance Department Procedures Manual. Tommy.
There was a manager in a small borough in Montgomery County several years ago who passed away on his way to work, got in Borough Hall. And the young man who replaced him at that time found out while this gentleman was an accomplished manager, well-respected, experienced, knew the borough code and the community inside and out, wasn't too fond of keeping notes, writing things down, establishing procedures and policies. Everything he did was in his head, and when he disappeared, everything disappeared with him. The young man who took over for him was me, and that was my first job in local government as a manager. And the next 6 months were very, very difficult because there was no backup to a really qualified person who was lost suddenly. And so I learned very early in my career that having dependable backup plans is critical in local government. So our finance department is most ably handled right now by our financial administrator, but it's still just department of one. And so backing up that position is critical. Those who are familiar with local government will tell you the finance position is the most difficult to fill in local government. Very, very challenging position. So early this year, we talked about putting together a procedures manual. The workload just doesn't allow for that to happen, so we're going to bring in some help to prepare a procedures manual for the key tasks that are performed by our finance department. So before the board, excuse me, this evening is a proposal from the folks at Government Finance Solutions to put together a procedures manual with regards to our processes for payroll, vendor payments, receipts, bank reconciliations, pension, the annual reports that go to Harrisburg every year, budget preparation, and audit preparation. You can add to that list escrow management.
I guess my comment would be that maybe you saw that in early in your career. Unfortunately, we dealt with that a little bit over 3 years ago when we lost personnel suddenly. It was a challenging time there at the beginning of COVID to try and keep payroll going, get the bills paid. We were fortunate to be able to do that, but lesson learned that there should be, some backup in place to help anybody else coming along to make the job a little easier to assimilate. So, I think it's probably something necessary that needs to be done.
I was impressed seeing the hourly rate at $125 an hour. I thought it was gonna come in a lot more than that. And the time they estimated to approximately complete the documentation, 60 hours.
$7,500 roughly.
Issues on the board? I'd like to make a motion to execute an agreement to prepare a finance department procedures manual as per the proposal submitted by Government Finance Solutions dated June 28th, 2023, with the hourly rate of $125 an hour. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Tommy. Treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report. That's me. Okay, we have a lot to do here tonight. We have total general fund bank account listed bills in the amount of $82,704.94 for the week of June 22nd of 2023. Any questions from that list? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, next one, general fund bank account list of bills in the amount of $62,931.03 for the week of June 29th of 2023. Any questions from that list? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, total general fund bank account list of bills in the amount of $93,812.43 for the week of July 6th of 2022. Any questions from that list of bills? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, we have a total general fund bank account list of bills in the amount of $102,365.32 for the week of July 13th of 2023. Any questions on that list of bills?
Jeff, I have a question on that.
Okay.
Becker Engineering one, is that their final invoices? Do you know?
There was no note on there saying that. I believe there was some familiarization.
That's from work done with the Grande subdivision. You know, it It should be. There might be occasions where we need to get in touch with them for some information we just don't have, but that should be the final payment.
And there was some communication there, I think, between the two engineers as well,
Going back and forth.
to familiarize Technicom. Anybody else? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion is second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, total general fund bank account list of bills in the amount of $198,960.47 for the week of July 20th of 2023. Any questions there?
Yeah, Jeff, I have a question, Allison. Are you comfortable with the financials that the fire companies gave us as they were presented?
We received confirmation from legal counsel that what was provided was that, maybe you saw that in the email.
No, I'm asking you if you're comfortable, not legal counsel. Are you comfortable with it as a treasurer?
I'm comfortable with legal counsel telling us that was sufficient proof for the donations made.
Did you give counsel the history on that?
I think they were copied on some of that from what you would, the large amount of information that you would put out to the board.
That was only a snapshot, but okay. So you're comfortable with it?
Are you?
I'm asking you the question.
I answered that.
You didn't answer it. You said you're following what counsel said. I'm asking you personally, are you comfortable with that information?
And I'll repeat the same answer.
Okay.
Anybody else? Seeing nothing, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion is second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
No.
Motion carries 2-1.
Okay, we move on. Light fund bank account listed in the bills in the amount of $4,956.91 for the week of June 22nd, 2023. Any questions there? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion is second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Light fund bank account list of bills in the amount of $189.63 for the week of June 28th, 2023. Any questions there? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion is second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Light fund bank account list of bills in the amount of $13,354.83 for the week of July 6th, 2023. Any questions there? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion is second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And, okay, hydrant fund bank account list of bills in the amount of $16,425 for the week of July 20th of 2023. Any questions there? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion is second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Okay. Electronic list of bills in the amount of $81,661.26 for the pay period of June 4th to June 17th of 2023. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And and electronic payment list of bills in the amount of $81,990.15 for the pay period of June 18th to July 1st. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And electronic payment list of bills in the amount of $87,655.82 for the pay period from July 2nd, 2023 to July 15th of 2023. I make a motion to approve as listed.
I'll second that. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries.
And that's your treasury report for tonight.
Department reports. Chief Gallion.
Yes, thank you. The chief's report for the month of June 2023, I'd like to discuss some notable arrests. During that month, Ryan Holtzman was charged with aggravated assault, criminal trespass, and related offenses after an altercation at a residence on Frederick Avenue. A Denver man was charged with simple assault and related offenses after police were dispatched to a domestic dispute at Denver Heights residence. A Reading City woman was charged with simple assault and related offenses after police were called to a domestic dispute at the Red Roof Inn, 2017 North Reading Road. An Adamstown man was charged with simple assault and related offenses after police were called for a rolling domestic that was occurring in a moving vehicle along North Reading Road in East Cocalico Township. Officers located one male in East Cocalico Township and one male in Denver Borough and put them into custody on outstanding arrest warrants. They were both turned over to the issuing authorities. On June 20th, Officer Logan High was recognized by the Lancaster County District Attorney's Office for his dedication to DUI arrests during the year 2022, the previous year, 2022. Officer High was one of 8 Lancaster County officers that received this award, and in fact, Officer High had the highest number of DUI arrests last year with 41. East Cocalico Township Police Department recognizes the danger to life and property posed by drug and alcohol impaired drivers, and we are committed to efforts to reduce this risk. During the month of June, Officer Zach Weaver successfully completed the 2-week-long CERT training. That is the Lancaster County Special Emergency Response Team. He is currently a member of that team. He is currently the only member of our department that's on the CERT team. Officer Weaver also completed the 2-week-long training. It's the second phase of the accident reconstruction training. Officer Weaver, along with 2 other officers, are members of the Lancaster County Crash Team. Extensive training in accident reconstruction. During the month of June, officers responded to a total of 586 calls in the township and 143 calls for service in Denver Borough. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for the interim chief? Okay. Anything from finance, public works, MS4 building? No? Informational items, gentlemen, you guys got anything?
Yes, I will do. June 16th, I had the ability to attend local government's advisory committee for the Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay. It was a breakfast meeting over at Lancaster at the Farm and Home Center. And it was a lot of discussion from municipalities throughout Lancaster County, boroughs and townships, looking to find solutions for clean water. Conversation eventually went to MS4 responsibilities of the municipalities and what some solutions to those issues are. It gave me a chance to highlight our FS4 program that Ken was instrumental in developing with DEP guidance. It was well received by the residents at the meeting. There was a lot of questions about DEP and how this was our pollution reduction plan was received with the farm credits that were developed. I was able to highlight the cost of the program for us at just a little over $30,000 last year as a pilot program that was put in place, and how that gave us the ability to accumulate all the MS4 credits that we needed. And Ken, there was comments there like, wow, this is groundbreaking stuff, and there was many questions about how this was put together. One of the attendees from one of the boroughs in the western part of the county talked about their MS4 responsibilities costing over $130,000 a year, and he was very excited to hear about new and inventive ways of meeting the criteria at these kind of reduced costs. The questions then went about, there's DEP's formulating new pollution reduction plan guidelines for future years. They're looking for suggestions on how the program can be changed for the better. And it was talked about sharing between municipalities, sharing of credits that can be used by or created by one municipality and used by another. And there was also talk about phosphorus indexing coming in the future as well. I thought overall it was a very good discussion. There was 2 other farmer supervisors there at the table as well, and there was some conversation created along those lines after the meeting. So kudos to you, Ken, for all the good work you've done at putting that program together, and there was a lot of interest there about it. So just wanted to bring you up to speed on that as well as the board. So
Thanks.
that's my item for the night.
Anything else?
Nothing from me.
New business, anything else? No. Old business. Act 172 tax credit for the volunteer emergency responders. Anything new on that?
I'd like to, I saw some new information came through from Valley about how other municipalities are approaching that. That's helpful in formulating some thoughts going forward. I'm still trying to put that together in my head, but that was very good. If you see anything else that's relevant, please pass it along.
Got anything? C&B Development.
Sure. Hi, I'm Andy Baldo here with Matt Post and Partner. This is in regard to 756 Gannon School Road. This is the third time we're part of the board. First time we gave a broad introduction of the project and what we're trying to do. Took some of those thoughts back, and last month we came and presented what we thought was our justification for the potential zoning change. It's a 43-acre tract. We're looking to rezone 23 of those acres from agricultural to light industrial. Today we're here just to reiterate our interest in pursuing the board's approval and taking the next step in the rezoning process. We have sent an updated summary sheet, right? Just this past month. There's nothing new in that. It kind of reiterates what we had discussed in the previous meeting. One, we're here to answer any questions you have about our project. And then two, we would like to bring a new topic up for discussion that happened through the 2 meetings. We can bring that up now. I think maybe then you can ask questions after that, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we proactively looked into the TDR program, realizing that that is, for people that don't know what a TDR program is, it's a transfer development rights program that municipalities utilize to essentially dictate where development can and can't go. It allows development to be sent to areas that's more appropriate for development and allows for the preservation of farms. So we looked into the ability to do that for this location, given the importance of preserving agricultural land throughout Lancaster County. East Cocalico does not have a TDR program established, but we looked into a way to essentially do an ad hoc TDR program, which incorporated us making a contribution, i.e. buying TDR merits via the Lancaster County Agricultural Preservation Board. They've capped on a per acre basis that each TDR is worth $4,000. So we looked into just essentially stating and outlining the idea that our property is better suited for development for a lot of the reasons which we outlined in our prior presentation. Happy to go back through them, but a lot of them align with the fact that Places 2040 has acknowledged that this property is a highly developable site. It aligns with the Cocalico comprehensive plan, given it is at the intersection of the regional highway network. Public utilities are available, and as we mentioned, it was previously zoned industrial and surrounded by industrial uses. So our solution was to make a donation to the Agricultural Preservation Board, where they can utilize that donation for our farm that we're proposing rezoning and preserve a farm that is already in the ASA, which is the Agricultural Security Area within East Cocalico Township. Essentially a farm that is not necessarily fully protected at this point. According to the Agricultural Preservation Board, over 250 farms throughout Lancaster County are awaiting preservation, and they need more funding in order to meet the demand that Places 2040 has placed on land preservation. So we felt that by creating a great development opportunity, donating to a great cause, and allowing the Ag Preservation Board to preserve a farm that meets all the criteria already was a very good solution to not having a TDR program in place.
We're not, are we 100% sure? Is that the only one to go?
There
Well, I guess
is-
we're open if there's other places.
There is
to
another
go.
Lancaster Farmland Trust, but we opted for the Agricultural Preservation Board because it was a higher value.
Okay.
They only are willing to pay $1,500 per acre, which makes it much more difficult for farm owners.
So that's our case. We won't reiterate it, the same thing we did last time. Happy to answer any questions, but we're seeking approval for the board to take the next steps in the zoning process, in the rezoning process of that piece of the parcel. That's our request.
Happy to answer any questions.
No, I stated my position last time clearly.
I guess the reason for, does the Ag Preserve Board accept private funding for preservation?
Well, they stated in their, I guess, the latest report that they need additional funding to meet the demand. So I can't imagine that they would turn down a donation, but we're happy. Tom was going to reach out after I sent this memo to him, so I don't know if you have clarity on that.
I don't know for sure either, but it was in my understanding that they only use government funds, whether local, state, or federal.
So does that mean we
And
can
the
make?
Farmland Trust is the nonprofit
Okay.
that
We're open
takes,
to doing that as well. We were just,
that takes donations.
Do they do the same thing as ASA essentially?
Any farm in the ag that's zoned agricultural can be placed in an ag security area.
Okay,
They do not have to already be there, they can be placed in.
I mean, truly, the only reason we did that was we were looking to give the highest donation that was equitable, so, if the LFT is land trust is better and more accepting, then that's work into that as well.
it's just a concept we haven't finalized, we would like your input, we go to the next step on.
One question I'd have is, like you said, you've been here 3 times now. Is there an option for you guys to buy the whole farm?
Well, the landowner wants to stay there for that portion of the farm, that 20 acres, he can remain in the Clean and Green program. And so for his tax, we don't want to kick him out of the farm, so no.
I guess for informational purposes, a lot of properties change hands in Lancaster County, and the owners get life rights to the buildings. And once they relinquish that, the buyer gets to use the buildings however they see fit.
Yeah, right. I think when we looked at that portion of the property, when we first looked, before we would talk to Mr. Martin, that has topographic and wetland issues right on that side of the property, so.
I mean, it behooves us regardless to own the whole property for our development, but.
Yeah, we would yield more, it would be better for us, but that was not the deal that we struck with the landowner.
He wants to stay and continue to live in Lancaster County. He's built his whole family life here, so that was kind of the.
At least what we know of it.
Yeah.
Maybe a life rights would be an option. That's yours. Well,
I'm not ready to move forward with it.
I think there's interesting consideration there that you made, something for the board to consider moving forward.
Is there any clarity we can bring to that? And if you have any specific questions that will help you move forward, if you don't want to announce now, obviously I think the conduit's through Tommy, through us. We like, we're interested in this project, it's a good project, and, I think we made the case, hopefully we made the case, that you guys can vote upon. It's just taking it that step, right? That's all we're looking for at this point.
If I can interject for a minute, I would think we need more clarity on what the program is that Ag Preserve does, what the program is that Farm and Trust does, how it works, how they can get their funding, whether or not this is even a viable option. I think I would need a little more information to.
How does that tie into taking the next step? Agree, we'll get it for you, we're just kind of curious in the logic.
Well, I think just that the board is fully informed on what the options are that are available out there.
And that
Would
they're real.
inform them in their decision on whether or not
Okay,
taking the next step is appropriate.
okay,
And so I think just having a little more information on how those programs work, and even any examples. I don't know, I have not encountered where donations have been made to Ag Preserve or Land Farm and Trust.
okay, either one, yeah.
I'm very, very, very familiar with TDR, probably more so than.
With which one?
With
Sorry.
the TDR program,
Okay,
and the various municipalities that have.
yeah,
And have dealt with it in many of them.
okay,
But not as familiar with what you're talking about.
Okay.
And I think to fully inform the board as to how that works, I would want a little more information.
okay, so how about we'll reach out we'll reach out to the various organizations, we'll get some clarity on that, and we'll present that to you in writing between now and the next meeting, and we'll look for some, if you have any other questions, in the interim, do you have any other questions that you guys, off the top of your head, from the information that we provided over the last few months?
Not right now.
Okay, if you get the information, just give it to Tom.
Sure.
You can pass it on to me. Or to Matt.
Okay. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Before the public comment, we have the checks here for the Brimstown, Stephen, and Snowstown. I see 2 of the 3 chiefs here, representation from all 3. You guys want to present it to them, or put them in the mail, hand them to them at the end of the meeting? You guys normally pick them up? Is that how you guys normally do it, or?
Good check. Usually we come here and they hand them out and take pictures.
That's what we'll do. Reamstown Fire, Reamstown Ambulance, Stevens Fire Company, Smoketown Fire Company. If you could please come forward, or I can just cash it myself.
Good luck.
Sir. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
You're lucky I changed shirt, that'd be cool.
I wouldn't have worn flip-flops. I'm still on vacation. Can you take a picture, please, Brian? Yep. You guys want to come up for a picture?
Yeah, you're good.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're a big guy. Here, I'll tuck it.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, boss. All that beef. Not too many times you can say you're one of 4 people and you're the lightest one.
Public comment, please state your name for the meeting minutes. Any public comment?
Yeah, Jeff Garner.
Yes, sir.
Does the board have a kind of a timeline on this tax thing? I mean, Kelly presented this thing and has given some information. I mean, can we put a time limit on it? Can we put a timeline on it that, you know, you need to the end of the year, you need till next month, you know, where? Just want to keep kicking the can down the road. Can we do a timeline?
I've learned that rushing into things is never a good thing.
No, not saying we need to rush into it, but I mean, I don't
You're trying to
know,
get me to give you a timeline.
I don't know how much more information we can give you than we already have given. And there's other people, I'm not speaking for Kelly because he knows more about it, but there's other people trying to see what happens here just to either buy into it or, you know, kind of pave the way. Not saying that we're paving the way right, but like, there's talk, you know, and I'm not saying we need to rush into anything. I mean, I think he gave you the information on what the county and other people were doing, and they said it may not work right now, so maybe it doesn't work, you know, so.
What I think this board should consider, like I said previously, I think it's a great idea. I think we should look into it. What we should consider is what are our requirements going to be to do this? Like you said, Kelly sent a lot of information from other fire companies from all over, and their obligation, let's call it, was down here and up here, totally different. So I feel like this board, if we're going to do it, with what was presented roughly, because it's been a couple months, like you said, was around 80,000 or something like that we'd be giving back to the amount of volunteers we have. And obviously that 80,000 is coming out of the township, and that's taxpayer money. So what we need to take in consideration is that 80,000, does that mean we gotta raise taxes? Not raise taxes, what are we doing? I think we're coming into budget season now, soon, and this conversation should continue, and hopefully we come up with a game plan. I've heard from individuals in the community, the fire community, to come up with a board amongst the 3 fire companies and a couple volunteers from the community. But I don't know if that's gonna end up helping this board, because we may not agree with what that board comes up with. Pretty much sometimes you get 3 good votes. Imagine if you have another 10 people add to it.
Let me add something here. The complexities here, Jeff, I don't even understand. yet, because we're talking about tax credits of some form or fashion. First question that I have in my mind is, when you're trying to put a timeline in place, is we've got to understand also what are the tax implications to the individual firefighters. Is that going to be considered by the IRS as income? Okay. What are the tax implications for the township? There's a lot of questions here. There's a lot.
Right, so you kind of answered me. We're not hearing those questions. That's not the information. Thank you for the information, we'll keep talking about it. Like, that's the stuff that we need to hear, that you guys are thinking through and contemplating and talking through.
And what I'm letting you know is we haven't sat down and compared notes. We haven't done that at all. Okay, we've only discussed it here in public, but just so you know, those are the kinds of things I'm thinking about.
I understand, it's not something that you can decide overnight. It's just some clarity in more than just, thank you for the information,
Yeah.
we'll get back to you. Like, this is what we're thinking, you know?
Because I agree with Lorenzo, it's a good idea, but the one thing I don't want to do ever is put the volunteers in a position where the tax implications for them at a personal level might put them in a position that it hurts them, it's not beneficial, or worse yet, it hurts them. There's a lot of questions there.
Yeah, understand? Yes, sir.
Kelly Morgan. So I'll comment, or see on your comments there. That's a ridiculous statement, thinking that a tax credit is going to hurt the individual volunteer. That's just not going to happen. What tax credit out there is going to hurt the individual applying for the tax credit?
For you to say that,
makes no sense.
I disagree. For you to say that, that means you know exactly what the tax returns look like for every single volunteer firefighter, for their own independent family based on their income levels.
So that's for the individual then to decide if they want to apply for this credit or not. So you all have the information straight from the fire commissioner's office, correct?
We do, yep.
So you have the layout of the entire program. It's a clear-cut program, it's not complicated. You have a township manager that implemented this wherever he came from. So ask your questions. Why, we keep going, like Jeff said, we keep kicking it down the road. You made the comment at the last meeting. You want to be leaders, not followers. Right now, you're just procrastinators. Somewhere the conversation's got to start.
But I appreciate your comments. Realistically speaking, this spending that kind of taxpayer money has to go through a budget process. So I don't see anything being implemented this year yet, but I'd like to see it be prepared for next year. That's my thoughts.
Well, that's fine. We just like.
And the budget submitted when? November?
Budget season normally is approved in December. It's talked about in October and in November when we have public budget meetings.
So is it fair to say by budget time that some kind of clarification will be decided on? Because if not, then I'm hearing we're gonna wait then until 2024 because we'll have to go through a budget again.
Implemented in 2025.
Again, just looking for clarification, just looking for clarity. So if I understand if it's a budget thing, and I understand it needs to go through the right processes. So if it's a budget thing, then we can not raise any questions until October and November until you do your budget. And then, then we'll know.
Yeah, that's fair. We can keep the conversation going every meeting. So.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I appreciate your comments.
But is there gonna be conversation? Because as of right now, there is no conversation. It's something to think about. And the next meeting, it's something to think about. So,
Okay. How can the three companies come up with a universal validation program that will satisfy the
The
board.
three companies have nothing to do with the universal validation program. The fire commissioner dictates what needs to be validated and the information that needs to be supplied. We, as the fire companies, have no jurisdiction to set up our own program. It's a clear-cut program that needs to be decided by the township as far as requirements, and then the state requires what they require as far as validation.
And each company has to provide that, right?
Correct.
Is there gonna be a universal way that each company has the same documents?
I'm pretty sure that was in the original proposal, how that would work.
And that will be universal through all three companies.
All three companies are sitting here right now, they all voted to make that tax presentation. All the information that was in there was already agreed upon by the three.
So the three companies agreed to it,
Correct,
100%.
they're sitting right here.
Chad, did you agree to it?
Jim Black answered that question 2 meetings ago.
Did Smoketown agree to it?
Yep. Voted.
It was in the presentation, it was right in the presentation that all three agreed to it.
No, I'm emphasizing it on the
Right.
question.
No, I understand.
I think this is the first time that my fellow board members, all three of us expressed interest. I'm hearing interest from all three of us. So I'd say to not keep kicking the can down the road, is I'd like by next meeting, you guys come up with what you guys think our volunteers should, to qualify for it, what you guys think they need to have or do. That way we don't kick the can down the road. And that, I'm speaking right now to our board.
Specific metrics.
They made a presentation and he's correct, and he made a proposal to us. Is this board okay with the proposal presented that the three fire companies voted on? Or do we want to modify that proposal? So we need specifics from this board for you to qualify for this tax credit from East Cocalico Township. This is what we want, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If we're not interested, let's stop wasting their time. If we're interested in moving forward, this board, us three, need to come up with, what do we want? That's the first step. What do we want? We all just said, all three of us just said, we're in favor of it.
But Lorenzo, it's not that simple. It's a very complex program, okay? The next question is, before we answer that question, we need a detailed metric mechanism from the fire companies, in my mind, of how are the volunteers going to qualify? Who becomes eligible?
They already gave that.
We gave that, that's what you need to come up with.
Who audits the eligibility? Is it a board review? Not us. Is it a separate board that
It's in
reviews the
the
eligibility?
proposal.
The chiefs will be reviewing all information prior to coming back to us. That's what I think the proposal said.
That's what the proposal said. And I'm asking the question to the public, is that something the public would want to see with that kind of money going out from the public? Or should that be other people reviewing those documents? You gotta think about
Who are you thinking?
So,
I'm just throwing in the question.
so you're raising valid questions. I'm not disputing that at all. So you have the proposal in front of you. And you're raising questions that are either in the proposal or not. So is it fair to say what Lorenzo's saying is take that proposal, look through it, and bring more questions back to us and say, okay, is it valid for the chiefs? It's a question. Then it's for us to decide, or somebody else to decide, or Kelly to do some more research, but we're not getting any of that information. You have the proposal, it's like we said, it's a proposal. We don't know what else to do.
If we're not progressing now, come budget season, it's not gonna happen.
No, you can't budget for something that you don't have. Every single line, every single.
So if we
dot
have,
and T crossed.
if we have 1,000 questions, let's make sure next meeting we ask 1,001. But the ball's been in our court for quite some time. We haven't done anything.
And if you could put the questions in writing, document them, because we're sitting in meetings and questions are getting thrown out, not everybody's writing stuff down, just send an email back or send a letter or something back, and then these guys have time to work on, like, ask the questions internally and consult other people. Kelly can call the appropriate offices and get some of that stuff back if we have it in writing, or maybe interpret it different, get these listening.
And Jeff, and we're on the same page here, you know, and I agree with you. I mean, you're president of the company, you know this, right? So, you know, the other questions that have gone through my mind, I'll pull those together myself, you know, and I'll let my board members do that on their own, right? But just so you know, some of the other things that have come up in my mind is because of our audit process we're going to do so as a municipality, right? What's the documentation we'll need?
Right.
To document that, you know, level of tens of thousands of dollars getting credited, right? So, you know, these are the tactical details, you know that as a president, that I'm
Yes.
thinking through in my mind.
Well,
Again, I would just reiterate, you have a township manager that's already implemented this somewhere. So some of those questions that you have would probably be better suited towards the person who's already worked with this kind of program, and maybe not the fire departments themselves.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, sir.
John Weaver, Stevens Fire Company. Thank you for our donations.
Well,
My question will follow is, what is going to be our requirements if we have them in writing? So that we can get that adhered to for next year, so we don't have to go through the show that we did this year.
So it'll be on the next meeting's agenda.
Okay, and that's fair enough. I mean, it needs to get discussed and hammered out, whatever it is, so we can meet them requirements.
I apologize for any inconvenience that it caused.
As long as we get it straightened out in the end. We'll give you whatever you need, just tell us what it needs to
The
be.
board will be discussing that
Fair
next
enough.
meeting.
specifics, that way it'll be the same yearly.
Yep.
If, my wish would be we give a specific list of items needed. If those items don't come in, nobody gets a donation, or that company will not get a donation. Period, end of story.
I say
Make
get
it
it-
nice and simple.
Get it figured out, whatever it is, so we know.
That way there's no, he said, she said, and no, bad blood in meetings
All we can ask
moving
for.
forward.
All we can ask for.
That's fair.
Any other comments? Yes, sir.
Jeff Garner, going back to the bills, I guess this is more a question for RC. Can you elaborate on the discussion you had with Mr. Mitchell on, is there an issue with the donations that were given out? That there was such a question on them being given out?
My question is that in the past, we always received tax returns from fire companies. That was the format that was utilized.
That's absolutely incorrect.
Okay, but there were financials that were handed, there were tax returns that were given. Your company did not give tax returns, they gave their own separate set of financials. Okay. The documents that were given this year, the financials, the receipts are there, they're handwritten. Your company moved to QuickBooks, I think 2 or 3 years ago. That's a document, we were just discussing this about credits, tax credits for fire companies. I don't think that that's appropriate enough documentation for audits.
You
It
asked
should
for,
be dropped directly from QuickBooks. You guys are on that now, and you can easily do that by running your reports. That's why. So we as supervisors have a fiduciary obligation. We have our own opinions about what we're looking at, and we have the right to vote yes or no based on what we're seeing.
I understand, I just was curious because, as it's brought up in the other meetings, over the last couple of years, a letter that was presented from each department, and all three of us will agree to it, was justified enough for the donation. Just a letter
The
that,
departments were also giving us financials. I have, since 2018 when I arrived, you know we've discussed this. I have a history of all that.
you have not received more than letters from departments for these donations up until this year.
I disagree with that, but that's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
I have the documentation. It's fine.
I was just curious, it was just weird the way that that went down, so just curious.
That answer your question?
Any other questions? Sounds good. The next Board of Supervisors meeting will be Thursday, August 3rd at 7 PM here at the Township Building. I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
Motion is second.